Very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the Thursday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Looking back to last video, by the way, I wasn't overly wrong. The other day there, I was actually kind of flapping a wee bit, thinking these malls are taking the mickey out of me. Because, of course, I initially called the potential for a heat wave. Then I said it wouldn't happen. And, you know, that last video wasn't overly inaccurate in terms of we're not going to get a heat wave this week. Now, the top temperature so far, I believe, is 26 degrees, recorded yesterday in Hull. And, you know, over the next 24 to 48 hours, the temperatures are going to remain at about 26, 27 degrees. So, i.e. today and tomorrow, those temperatures aren't going to be much warmer than that. So, to an extent, I do think that second video that I did, not the first, but the second video, wasn't overly wrong in terms of stating that we're not going to get a heat wave, and that was referring to this week, of course. So we are going to get hot. We are going to start to see temperatures approach 30 degrees through, I think, particularly Sunday. But there is indications that the focus of that heat is going to generally be over the eastern and southeastern parts of the British Isles, I think, as we go you know, through the second half of the upcoming work week, or weekend, should I say. Let's have a quick look at the Madden-Julian oscillation, because this is a big player, I think, but we're starting to lose the amplification of this. The reason why I say that is we're entering the cool phases once again. Now, we're entering back into the same phases, 8, 1 and 2, that we seen back during April and May. That, of course, produced a very, very cold spring. The big difference is that it's almost centered in the center, the middle portion of the graph here, whereas away back during the spring months, we're seeing it way out here, and that indicated more amplification and more influence on the atmosphere globally. So the release of heat within the tropics essentially dictated where those highs and the lows would position themselves over the mid latitudes, and but we're starting to see it entering the what kind of been known as the null phase, where it doesn't have as much, it doesn't provide as much guidance, if you will, in terms of what's going on in the atmosphere away from the tropics. But, you know, we are going to see, like I say, we are going to see some warmth coming over the next few days. We've got a weak frontal system that's tracking southeast. We've got plenty of shower activity associated with that front. And as we skip through here, you can see the pressure chart and what happens. We've got plenty of shower activity here over Europe. We've got some shower activity over the UK. That frontal system will slowly push southeast over the next 24 hours. And then once that clears, so this is during the day tomorrow, you notice here that the frontal system will be further south. We've got more of a kind of wind coming in off the Atlantic. So we're starting to kind of weaken the area of high pressure. So therefore you're going to have a bit of a restriction in terms of warming during the course of tomorrow. Temperatures probably still into the mid-20s, not by any means cold, but not a little bit more subdued. And we've got that westerly airflow coming in off the Atlantic here, so a little bit of a fresher feel to things. But notice here that as that frontal system clears out, watch the ridge of high pressure over the Azores. That's going to pop and push hotter air up into the UK. So this would be for Saturday, and then into Sunday we'll start to pick up the warmer air from the Azores region here from the southwest. So we're pulling in warmer but also more humid air as well. And I think the focus of the heat is generally England and Wales, perhaps up into the northeast of England as well. And it'll be interesting to see how warm it gets. But like I say, there is indications that further down the road, while we still hold on to some of this warmth into next week, we've got a frontal system pushing in. We could have some thunderstorms blowing up with the collision between warm and fresher air off the Atlantic here. So we'll be watching that in the early next week. That frontal system sweeps southeast, and I think that is when we start to see more influence of the Atlantic, more low pressure as opposed to high pressure, because we're going to start to see the Atlantic wind up and throw areas of low pressure in. So we get another little ridge of high pressure, probably not as prominent as the second one, the first one, should I say. So, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think this here area of high pressure will be a little bit less warm as opposed to the initial. And then look at this, we've got areas of low pressure now starting to push in. Remember what I said early, mid-June onwards, we could start to see a little bit of a deterioration in terms of the weather overall. So let's have a look at the temperatures here of the GFS. And you can see here over the next couple of days, we've got relatively warm weather, especially across the southeastern half of the country. And then it's as we start to push into Saturday, we've got that warmth. And then Sunday is the day that we actually start to see oranges appearing over the UK. Even the northeast of Scotland, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 25, maybe a 26 in places such as Aboyne, even Lossiemouth, for example. It depends on how much sunshine we get, but we're going to have fairly pronounced southwesterly winds. Like even today, we're going to see temperatures probably close to 25 degrees in the northeast of Scotland, thanks to the Fern effect. Strong winds, southwesterly direction, gusting at 40 to 45 miles per hour. And of course, with sunshine, you get that heating downwind of the mountains here off the Grampians. And as you can see here, that we start to push into the day on Monday, and we're starting to lose the heat back to the near continent once again. Fresher air coming in on the backside, and then we kind of clean things out once again. But you get a little bit of a surge in warmth, always that pulsing effect. Spain, France, temperatures well into the 20s, even the low 30s. We get a little bit of a pulse across the channel into the southeastern corner of the UK, but really it's generally confined to this region of the British Isles here, generally speaking here. You notice even some of these nights, by the way, could get fairly cool. Look at that there, some of the blues representing mid-single figures anyway. Looking at the NAO forecast, and you can see here it's kind of flatlined. So that indicates to me that we're going to start to see a little bit more of a kind of Atlantic influence. If that was positive, that would indicate more ridging over the northwest of Europe and a deeper trough over Greenland and the North Atlantic. But when it's flatlined, it tends to be that you get a little bit of mobility in terms of the overall upper flow. Looking at the ECMWF, you can see here that, let's get back to the initial here, and you can see here that what's taking place. So even the ECMWF was always leaning a lot warmer than the GFS, and I think I'm slightly guilty of just focusing on the GFS, but I think, like I say, I don't think I was overly wrong with the last forecast in terms of it wasn't going to happen and the heat was a little bit more delayed. A lot of people were jumping on this week, this work week, being a lot warmer than it actually has become. And you can see here, there's the ridge of high pressure during the day on Sunday here. So it's really Sunday's the day that we could approach 30 degrees. And what's interesting about Sunday, the 13th of June, is the only day meteorologically in the UK that temperatures have failed to reach 30 Celsius out of all the summer months and days during each summer month. The temperatures always reach 30 degrees somewhere in the UK, with the exceptions of Sunday the 13th of June. Can we do it this year? That is going to be the question. So that's it for today. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.